And welcome back, everyone, to Tennessee This Week. The conversation continuing now with Craig Griffith, Courtney Piper, and George Corda. Again, thank you so much for being here. Senator Bob Corker, honored last week by colleagues on both sides of the aisle as he now gets ready to retire, including this tribute from fellow Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander.
As Senator McConnell said, Bob Corker is always a man on a mission, with little regard for the obstacles in the way.
All right, so let's talk about Bob Corker's legacy here for just a moment. George, I'm going to start with you down at the far end.
All right, well, I think he is going to be remembered within the Foreign Relations community, because he was chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, as a very active chairman who really did help set the tone from the Senate side as to its direction on foreign relations. I think his legacy is going to be the one that is remembered, is he started off as a Trump fan, became a Trump enemy, and that did not accrue, I don't think, to his benefit in terms of trying to figure out whether he wanted to run for re-election again in Tennessee. Regardless, I'm not sure that he would have, but I think his long-term memory, or the long-term memory of Bob Corker, will be, he's a pretty darn good senator overall.
Courtney, looking back?
I think what he will be remembered for, probably one of the things he'll be remembered for, is this arch enemy that he made with Donald Trump. I mean, he didn't just disagree with him, he vehemently disagreed with him and used a couple of choice words to do so. And because we have this big personality with our current president, I think that's something that's really going to stick with Bob Corker. But sort of how that resonated through his entire Senate career is that he wasn't afraid to sort of throw those jabs and, you know, call a situation as he saw it. His depth of knowledge as it related to foreign affairs is really unmatched, and there is almost no way that anybody who tries to fill his shoes can really replace his depth of knowledge and his diplomacy and the way that he sort of works that Foreign Affairs Committee.
Craig, you all along with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, he was obviously worked real hard and developed a lot of good policies related to foreign relations. But I think I'll remember him most for, other than disagreeing with Trump, is his work in economic development for the state, his partnering with the state and local governments, and attracting some really big jobs numbers here to Tennessee after the 2008 recession. So I think he was able to help steer. He was on the banking committee at that time as well as the foreign relations committee. And I think he was able to steer the country through some of those issues related to the recession in 2008 and push Tennessee's economy forward to where we're a barn burner now. So I think that, and of course we'll always remember his battles with Trump. And of course, as I've always said, I'm not so sure he's out of it. I think that he has a plan where if Trump decides not to do something, you know, perhaps he's there with his foreign relations experience to carry the flag.
He's been asked and he hasn't really commented.
Keep an eye on him, because I don't think he's just going to fade
Nobody in
to the
elections
sunset.
cares about foreign affairs if there is not some foreign affair crisis happening at the time. They care about the economy. So I'm running because I knew a lot about foreign affairs. It's not going to get anybody elected.
We'll see how this one plays out. Another topic we do want to touch on real quick, Fort Sanders Regional Medical Center is expanding. Well, just a few miles away, actually not far from our studios, Physicians Regional, the old St. Mary's, is about to close. Hospital officials pointing out that Fort Sanders is about to be the only downtown hospital, describing a, quote, crisis-level need for emergency beds. So how do we square these two ideas? One hospital closing, the other just a couple miles away, needing to grow to handle the demand. What does it say about health care in our community right now? Craig?
Well, I don't think you can necessarily equate the two of them closing in this expansion. You're expanding your hospital and putting in more emergency room beds because the emergency department is the way you fill your hospital. Those people go to the emergency room and they become inpatients, and so that's how you work to get those inpatients in. But St. Mary, the former St. Mary's, is closing because it's an older facility.
Sure.
You're looking now to where a lot of your services are being done on an outpatient service. So they've moved those services to their other campuses. Right. It's sad to see St. Mary's go because it was down there and for nearly 100 years.
Sure.
But medical health care is changing, and you have to keep up with the times.
Yeah, definitely. We've got about 45 seconds, Courtney.
I think it's just the way that these two hospitals are managed. My husband spent a bit of time at the Tanoa facility in Powell, and then because he had a heart condition, they moved him to the one to what was St. Mary's.
Right.
So it's seems to me that they're just spreading these services around, but I really think it's a shame that we are losing another hospital in the downtown area.
George, about 15, 20 seconds.
Tenova is, they've got great people working there, but it's a for-profit system. And for-profit system has to look to what kind of return do we get on what kind of investment, and ultimately they're going to make a lot of decisions based on that alone.
All right. And on that note, thank you so much again for joining us. If you would like to watch this show again, you can find it on our website at WATE.com.
The views of guests and panelists of this program are their own and not necessarily those of WATE 6 on your side or Nexstar Broadcasting Incorporated.